So did you watch the Super Bowl? Did you see the commercial that's getting a lot of people angry right now, a lot of people worked up? When I watched it, I had some people over at our house, and by the time the second half commercials started coming on, we weren't paying attention as much anymore. But I heard the song in the background, even with people around, and I caught my attention, so I looked over to see what was going on. And I saw a weird commercial that was clearly for VRBO or Airbnb, like you could tell what it was for, but they were playing that song. And when I'm watching it, I'm not connecting what I'm seeing to the song. I was kind of like happy to hear it, especially knowing that even in Canada, this was a big American commercial, so lots of people are seeing it, and lots of people hearing the song. But what exactly was I watching? And I wasn't mad or anything at first. I'm just kind of confused, like, what is this? So apparently I wasn't the only one who was confused. I wasn't super mad. I'm still not super mad. I'm a little bit disappointed, but I think a lot of people got really worked up, and the government reached out to the representatives of VRBO, the company that the commercial was promoting. And apparently there's been a response. There's been a positive response. VOCM this morning has reported that the company has actually apologized and they're going to take some action. Now, some people are kind of thinking this is overblown. Some people are thinking that this was really like the worst thing that could have happened. I'm somewhere in the middle. I definitely, as a creator, I like when my work is recognized. There was an instance one time where NTV used a snippet of one of my videos for an organization that they were talking about, and they didn't credit me with it, and I wasn't upset or anything. I was just kind of like, well, that would have been an opportunity to help promote my channel and promote my videos, and NTV didn't do that, so I was a little bit annoyed, but it was water under the bridge. It wasn't the worst thing in the world to happen. And that was my feeling with this video. It was kind of like, this song is Newfoundland, and there was no tying it back to Newfoundland. Some people were upset because they felt that it was portraying Newfoundland in a bad way. If you're using the quintessential Newfoundland song to tie it in some way to Newfoundland in a positive way, none of that happened. I don't usually jump in with like topical news stories on these videos, but this was one thing that it really piqued my interest when I heard the song on Super Bowl Sunday. Despite the noise going on at my house with my friends and family over for the game, it still caught my attention, and it didn't sit right with me, but I couldn't put my finger on exactly why, because I jumped into the commercial while it was already started. I saw in a couple of other news stories that a few people pointed out that it really didn't bother them because when they saw the commercial, they didn't really see Newfoundland in it. If you watch it and you don't see Newfoundland in that video, you must have been watching it with the sound off, because hearing that song is hearing Newfoundland. This could be a situation where VRBO just didn't know any better, but that's the whole point here, and that's where the value of reaching out and making some noise about this comes into effect. Like, this isn't just a song that Newfoundlanders really like. This song is a musical representation of Newfoundland. It's part of our history in the deepest possible way. We learn it in school. Like, everybody knows Fogo, Twillingate, Morton's Harbor, we're all around the circle, and it's part of our heritage, unlike any other song that I can think of. May not even be my favorite Newfoundland song. I have a bunch that I prefer, but I can't deny that it is the quintessential Newfoundland song. For VRBO to use it, it can be totally fine, but to use it in this manner where it's just like commercializing literally a very strong piece of our culture without any positive tiebacks to Newfoundland, the negativity that's associated with the imagery that was going on with the song behind it. There's a few different levels of why this kind of upset people. But they did make efforts to apologize. I commend them on that. I commend the government actually for reaching out and trying to make something happen to correct this. Is this the biggest problem that Newfoundlanders are facing right now? Of course not. And I also want to just give a quick shout out to MHA Paul Lane, who, I'm no fanboy for any politician, for any political party on any level, but I gotta say, Paul Lane seems to do the right thing more times than not. And in this case, he just pointed out a simple question, saying, you've reached out, you've made noise about this commercial, which is not a bad thing necessarily at all, but what about issues that are actually affecting day-to-day life of Newfoundlanders and Labradorians? He just put this simple tweet out, which, here you go. So shout out to Pauline for making sure that we didn't glaze over other things that are happening. And if we're able to make change by reaching out to the people that need to be reached out to, let's keep doing it and keep making change that affects us all in positive ways on all different levels.